This episode is brought to you by our patron supporters. Today's patron of the day is Megan. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. If you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline.
Oh, yeah, patrons. And don't forget, if you leave a comment, you might be the next patron of the day. And today in the bonus show, we're going to be talking about, you know what, rhymes with doobies.
Wow, okay. I don't know.
This is very much stream of consciousness. First thing that came to my mind. Let's make this fucking piece of shit. What's up? That's because that's what's always the first thing to come to mind. If I'm like, all right, blank slate, am I thinking of?
Boobs.
Boobs. Yeah. Yeah, we've given up on monetizing this. I think I said fuck within the first 30 seconds anyway, so.
Did I?
Didn't I? Didn't I just say let's make this fucking piece of shit? Oh, shit's a swear word too.
Yeah.
I swear a lot. I swear too much. And I always forget when kids are around. And so like the number of times I've had to say like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have kids.
Do you think that you're making up for lost time for not swearing for any period? Like, did you not really swear when you were younger?
So here's the thing. In about 4th or 5th grade, I decided I was going to swear at school, but not at home because there was a lot of pressure to swear.
Right.
There was a lot of like, Jimmy doesn't swear. Mm-hmm. Of course, back then I went by a different name.
Sure.
It was chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, it's spelled with a TH, just so everybody knows. Chrysanthemum. And so people were like, why doesn't chrysanthemum swear? And one day I just wanted to be a swear guy. So we had like I can remember it was 4th grade in the cafeteria. And I was like, guys, today's the day when we get to lunch. I'm going to start swearing. And we had like a little swear celebration.
I can't tell how real this story is, but if
it's actually 100%
is
real.
it? That's really funny to like think today's the day that I'm going to reinvent myself and I'm going to start swearing.
As I recall, I spent 25 cents extra on my lunch because we weren't really supposed to do that, my parents. But they weren't. By the time I came along, they had already had so many kids that they'd stopped keeping track of shit with me. And so it was like for 25 cents off of your account, you could get a cookie. And I'll tell you what, I have been spending my whole life just trying to find the elementary school chocolate chip cookies. I mean, I haven't had a cookie in a long time, but a no cookie tastes as good to me as those cookies tasted back then.
Yeah.
Also, their little square pizza. Mine wasn't square pizza, but it was clearly cut out of a giant rectangle. Yeah. And they do like slant. So the end wasn't like a triangle. Yeah. The end was like a trapezoid shaped piece.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I miss those days. Anyway, I'm Jimmy Snow.
I'm Alyssa Loop.
And it is June 16th, 2025. And in theory, we are Theory.
In theory.
Chrysanthemum and Alyssa back on thwack. And we will be back to our original schedule of Monday and Friday mornings, except for when good old fashioned our bestie, if she can show up to something for once.
I miss her. It's like
I do too.
Crazy to have not really gotten to speak to her that much in like the past like a month, basically.
It's like, to me, I know that you fill the entire hole that would be left by you if you were gone, if you were here. But I rely on the two of you to also partially fill my hole.
Right.
And so it's like, if I'm gone, it's fine because between the two of them, they totally fill my hole all the way up.
Right.
My hole gets so full. I just have a full hole and nobody misses me. But if one of you are gone, it's like your hole is gone and then a little bit of my hole is exposed and I'm only partially filling the hole. The problem is that I am on my best day, I can't fully fill a hole.
Right, and when we're talking about whole fillage, that's
I should
tough.
run for president.
You really should. I think
because I can't
based
fill
on
a
that
hole.
platform alone.
I can't fill a hole, and so I'm going to try and fill the hole left by Fred by ruining your country.
Oh my God!
In a way that my clan dad, allegedly my clan dad, would be so proud.
Actually, so the last time that you did an episode of the pod, it was The Girls Are Fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of shit that's happened since the girls were fighting
Jesus.
is fucking insane.
Yeah. By the way, people, we have a so internally, when we talk about how we're going to introduce stories, we call it "Did you see?" So it's like, hey, what did you see? Are you bringing to the podcast today? And so it'd be like, did you see that Israel and Iran are blah 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 blah? And we might talk about it that way. But that segment name is changing, I think, internally, and maybe now on the pod itself, it's going to be Jesus Christ. Did you see? JFC DYS. JYC DYS. DYS is did you see Jesus Christ? Jesus fucking Christ.
DYS.
JFC dis.
JFC.
Yes. JFC on this. Sounds like something Borat would say.
Yeah, something's happening.
Yeah.
With that feels like you're.
Remember when you could just love things like Borat, and then
I know.
Sacha Baron Cohen has to be a fucking Zionist piece of trash.
I know. And also just in general, like, I think about the things that we like, there's no way that if we watch Borat, like, all of it's PC to the degree that we are now.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't know, for example, Sacha Baron Cohen is white. I didn't know that.
Really?
So that kind of puts a different spin on him going to a Middle Eastern country and mocking, like,
I've never actually seen Borat before.
Oh, it was very
I'm
fun.
making a pretty educated guess that if I were to watch it now, it would be a tough watch. But it's hard because, like, I like The Office and I'll watch old episodes of The Office. Like the Diversity Day episode of The Office, I think is insane.
So funny.
And so funny. But, like, if you could never in a million years, even in a satirical lens, come out with something like that now. But
yeah, maybe, but maybe not. I think what matters is if the audience buys the intention of the people.
Right.
Because that's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia is still doing way crazier shit than that. But nobody thinks that, like, when Mac does if the gang becomes Nazis by accident.
Right. They know that that's not.
Right. Nobody thinks that it's like they're trying to get some pro-Nazi stuff in. And they're like, no, the show is a show of scumbags.
Right.
And I feel like my beard's coming out too much. My face looks really round today.
No, I think it's stress, Jimmy, because I literally the past week, every day I look at myself and I'm like, and so I'm ugly. I'm fat and I'm ugly. And this is...
There's a lot going on. And so I'm feeling real ugly.
It's like my body is so bloated. Like my belly is bloated. Like if I let it like some, like when you just like go to the bath, like I don't know if this is like just a girl thing or not, but like when you like go to the bathroom or like you're by yourself for a second and I feel like I don't realize how often I'm just like sort of like holding my stomach in, and then you just like let it vibe for a second and you look and you're like,
oh, there it is.
What's going on right now with my body? I look like an eggplant. It's crazy. So I don't know.
Maybe it's also it's like summer and it's like somebody's going to try to see me without a shirt on soon. And so you've got like a different level of judgment. For me, I mean, I'm looking to be hitting pools and stuff this year now that I can.
Yeah, girl.
But then at the same time, I've been like getting naked in front of the mirror, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm putting the weight back on, and then to hit the scale and be like, oh, I lost a pound.
Right.
Nope. So I think I'm not, but
I think it's the stress of everything that's been going on is making me just like a little inflamed.
Yeah, and then there's other silly things going on. So my truck is right now getting fixed. This was kind of a thing that was going on why we had to delay our recording earlier. My truck's getting fixed. It got hail damage and there was a car rental and they put the rental through the wrong day. And so, but like by the time I was trying to talk to people about it, everybody was closed and include like the insurance and the rental place. And they wanted the car back already. So I'm like calling all these after hours lines, making sure there's notes on things and stuff because I'm not going to pay those late fees.
No.
This ain't Blockbuster. I'm done with that shit. Though now under the Trump administration, getting rid of the, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the people who literally they're the reason why banks have a limitation on how much they can charge on overdraft fees and late fees. They've gotten completely gutted by Doge and Trump. Literally, it's this agency we have that for every dollar that we pay them in taxes, they return something like $20 of value to the taxpayers. And those are the remember, Doge isn't just about like, the word in there is efficiency. So if it's literally, I'm going to give $1 to get back 20, it's kind of hard to defend you get rid of that program. And yet here we have like, oh, you're going to spend $1 less for every dollar we're going to return to you in taxes. You're going to lose $20 to predatory practices over the course of the year. And this is the same trick that they've managed to use to get people to stop asking for healthcare, because they're like, yeah, your taxes, they're going to go up like a solid like $50 a year. They're going to go, or what is it? Like the equivalent of like, it'd be like $600 for the year. You're going to get like $600 higher taxes for the year. Do you want to pay $600 more in taxes? And then Bernie's out there like, okay, but like, you're going to pay no premiums.
Right.
You're going to pay no deductibles.
Right.
You're literally going to save thousands of dollars a year. And then people are like, oh, I want to pay those. No more taxes. No more taxes.
Was I talking to you about like Bernie stuff? And then I can't remember if it was talking. This is funny because I can't remember if it was me talking to you or me talking to Kevin about like how one day there's going to be a Bernie Sanders documentary, and I think it was Kevin, and he was saying how like one day there's going to be a documentary like reflecting on what his entire journey was like trying to campaign and afterwards, and he's like, I can't wait to watch it because it's going to be so interesting. And I feel like
might exist already.
I feel like like having other generations that were not a part of it, or they're going to watch it and be like, so this entire generation just like completely fucked up this opportunity to completely turn this around. Yeah,
a shot. It is funny because now you have a group of leftists who have gone left of Bernie, who are mad at Bernie because he's been letting, and in truth, he has let us down on certain things over the last couple of years. But there's certain things where I'm looking and I'm like, you know, it's weird how people, when they are in a further phase in their journey, they look back at other people who are not there yet, but are on their way and like super shit on them.
Yeah.
In fact, even just talking about like things you could get away with on TV before. The funny thing about that is so like everybody, I think I mentioned this on the last episode on The Girls Are Fighting, but every person I know who has like a good handle on being more responsible with their language now, being more like, but are also like good people. They're not the people who are just like on the internet, just like, oh, I'm going to find it. Does that one offend me? Shit. I think I'm racist if I say that one offends me. Okay, this one. Not those people. The people who actually like can articulate well and who seem to actually be doing it compassionately, not because they ended up on the right team and that's what they do for their activism is mascot their own side and instead of going and fighting an actual goddamn Republican. But I don't have strong feelings about this. Anyway, those people, the people who actually like are like, yeah, here's the compassionate reasons. Here's why it's wrong. Here's why and can articulate well. I've noticed it's all the people who, like myself, were nightmares before. Like back in the day, we're just saying the worst stuff. We're from the like make you, what do we call it back then? It wasn't like make you like the edgelord generation.
Okay.
Like the people who are the best activists for that language tend to be the people who came around and actually were born into something wrong, lived conditioned by something wrong, and then through like actually interacting with people kind of came out of it and became their own thing. And so it's funny because like people will shit on the Line, our channel, for being a bit of a debate show. And obviously that is what it is. But they're like, it's because they're past the debate phase. And they're like, no, now I'm on to the live my life phase. And I'm going to look back on the people and I'm going to look at this resource, the Line, which I feel I don't need anymore, but I did need back then.
Right.
But because I don't need it now, I'm going to shit all over the concept of it.
So that's such a good point. That's such a good point.
And we're starting to do that to Bernie, where it's literally like Bernie radicalized most of you who are now trying to destroy him.
Right.
Like, are we not going to appreciate the fact that he's there probably continuing to help us radicalize people toward actual leftism? Because that's what we actually need right now is some radicalization to look at what the current status quo is and go, no, we need to make crazy levels of changes and not be so,
Wait,
feel good about ourselves.
We didn't change.
I'm on the right side of things, so I don't need to do shit more.
I'm changing the title of our episode to June 15th.
Oh, I already changed it.
Oh, you did?
So it's changing yours. It's the whole.
It said
thing is weird.
untitled.
I think it's because you hadn't hit refresh after I did it. I don't know.
Okay. Well then.
Could have been.
Whatever.
Could have been. Anyway, it is wild. It's weird that people are. And so then that brings us to these moments that we're getting to right now, which is the very good and pleasant and thing that I like, which is protests. I love seeing the people on the streets. I love that despite the fact that there are people trying to make you afraid of going out, people are still going out. And I think it is also funny, though, that there are people who, I'm trying to think of how to put it. It's funny to see the right now try to say, like, most of those protesters are just there because it's a party with their friends. And it's just literally like, what?
What?
Of course,
Who's saying that?
People on the right, where it's like, it's all virtue signaling. And look, I actually don't even disagree with that being a presence there. Certainly not all of it. That being a presence there. But I just think it's a fucking weird thing to call out because you guys had the fucking Tea Party. Like, you guys did January 6th. You guys did. Of course, every fucking side, every team has a bunch of people who are there for the wrong reasons, who are there to, trust me, I've been on Instagram. I am more than aware that there are plenty of people there who are like, ooh, that protest is going to be great for my algorithm. And I can happily, like, you can be a balanced person and be like, fuck those people. That doesn't make the protest wrong. The protest is great. And having more people there.
Why? I don't care. Like, I don't care. What I wanted was people showing up in droves, and that's what happened. Like, so I don't actually care if their intention in the moment was like, yeah, I want to align with this publicly because it looks good for my algorithm. I don't really know that I care that much, like, because it is important that people, like, I would rather this person go with murky intentions on the right side of the fence than, like, be at home or be on the other side. Like, I would rather them be there even if their intention is a little murky. Like, whatever.
My whole thing is,
I want to see this everywhere.
It doesn't matter to me because I'm like, so what are you saying? You want to have, like, on the individual level, I do care. And if I knew, if somebody was doing some shit, I'm like, bro, are you right now trying to be a, like, cishet white dude and see if you can go here and make it as much about yourself as possible and be as visible as possible? Are you going to lead where you've not been asked to lead instead of support? Like, I, on an individual level, on people I actually know, I'm happy to call out and would fuck with a person who is doing that shit. But on the grander level, it's like, wait. So are you suggesting we need to gatekeep our side for purity of knowledge and motivation when your fucking side is a bunch of redacted fucking morons?
Yeah, actually, I'm okay with people virtue signaling that everyone deserves rights.
Yeah,
I'm good. That's fine. If they're able to show up where it matters to say that all human beings deserve human rights in this country, I don't really see that much of a problem with that. And also, the second that the one thing about the internet that I think is good and bad is not the one of many things that has, good and bad about it is people will, if they've put themselves out there, people will hold them accountable. So, like, if these are people who are appearing to virtue signal and be at these protests and whatever, the next time a humanitarian crisis comes up and they have said nothing, you bet your fucking ass someone's going to be in the comments and say, hey, you cared so much about this, but why don't you care about this? And who knows, maybe that is the impetus for them expanding and growing and having some sort of critical thought. So I think of all of the things that we can be critical of, it's, like, insane to me to have any sort of criticism around people like, who the fuck cares? Who cares? I don't care.
I'm fine. I'm happy to criticize absolutely everything. That's
what I do for a living. But I mean, like, from the right, I'm like, are you
the thing that I'm going to be like,
and it's also, like, this
lead by example. You guys filter down to actually capable people, and you'll stop having so many embarrassing Jordan Klepper fucking segments of him just going up and being like, hey, here's the Constitution. And they're like, yeah, I believe in that. And you've seen Jordan Klepper stuff, right?
Maybe. I need to see what he looks like because he's a man on the street type of vibe. I'm sure I've seen him.
But he works for the Daily Show, and he goes. And he'll go to
yes. I know exactly
the
what you're
rallies,
talking about.
and he'll get the people just to contradict themselves directly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so that whole group of people is so worried about the left. What are you talking about?
Bro, your side literally, if you're talking about doing things just to entice, just to provoke, just because you like the attention, your side literally invented truck nuts.
Truck nuts.
Your side invented truck nuts.
I love how like that's like, do we know that for fact? Like on paper, no, but like in spirit. Yeah.
100.
It's
one of those things. I can't prove it, but I know.
I can't prove it, but I fucking know. No, you're so right. Truck nuts.
I wonder if I can find this quickly. How much is the MAGA merch? What is the word for that? Like the MAGA merch. What's industry worth each year, or how much is the MAGA merch? There's a word for like annual collection of money.
Like revenue.
Kind of. It's a
gross.
How much of an industry? How much of the MAGA? How much is the MAGA merch industry each year in profits?
Well, this came up on I don't know if you've seen this podcast that has popped up called The Necessary Conversation, and it's a brother and sister who are like adults. They're like in their 30s or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, and they interview their parents who are like super MAGA, and their dad in particular is like such a piece of shit. He sucks. The mom is like sort of redeemable in some ways, but they recently asked, like on the podcast, it came up in conversation. I don't remember how it came up, but they said, where do you think, when you buy all of this MAGA merch, where do you think the money goes now that he is not campaigning anymore? Where do you think the money goes? Because at first they were like, no, it goes to his campaign. We wanted to move him along, so we wanted to make sure that the money got
to his campaign.
It was never going to his campaign. But
no.
they and he said that, and he was like, it's not going to his campaign. It's going in his pocket. And then they were like, no, it was going to the campaign. It was going to the campaign. And he was like, okay, so where is it going now? And they were like, to other Republican members that he wants to support. Like, be so fucking for real.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, this industry. Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Insane.
Annual revenue from Amazon alone could reach $280 million based on sales estimate. So you're literally talking about that's virtue signaling. You guys have fucking hats. And then have you noticed that? Have you ever seen them be like, oh, clearly Trump has more support because we're wearing Trump hats and bikinis and tube tops and trashy shit. And you're like,
weird. And you
guys are bragging about being in a cult.
Right. You should be more embarrassed than that. And also, sorry, it's ugly. I'm not wearing it because it's ugly. And I have style. And I would never because of the message, and I would never because I think it's gross. And I think like, never mind, I was going to say something mean, but I'm not going to say it.
No, say it. Do it. Say it. Please say it.
I was going to say like
Would it help if there's music playing while we could queue up the break music?
Yeah.
And then when we come back, we're going to talk more in depth about what's actually gone on this weekend, talking about the protest as well as talking about Donald Trump's little birthday party. I'm really excited to get to that.
Okay,
but Alyssa, with the music going,
my bitchy judgmental comment is, I think most items of clothing that have the American flag on it are ugly. And I think
trashy.
I think right. Well, I think it's not like a mistake or an accident that if you were to go to like a white trash themed party, like
lot of flags,
a lot of flag garments. And I'm not saying that that's irredeemable, but I'm saying as it is right now, it's
I just hope it's the modern flag, because sometimes they don some of the old ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my god.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can
Didn't even ask her if she wanted a break between the two, but there was a break. We're refreshed. Do you feel better?
I feel great.
We took that moment to recharge.
Take
you can literally
one
moment.
simple deep breath.
That's the magic of TV, people.
Yeah.
There's a sort of non-alignment to everything. This weekend, lots of encouraging things to see. Sometimes, admittedly, through the lens of some TikToker who's really fucking annoying trying to make it about themselves. But you know what I liked is all those people behind the TikTokers, behind the massive crowds coming out and saying, even in very heated places, and by that I mean literally hot, like Texas, that we reject fascism. Though my favorite is there's a place near me called Pflugerville.
Okay.
And it starts, it actually starts with the letter P. It's PF.
Wow.
Pflugerville. PFLUGRVIL. And it was, there's someone who had a big sign that said Pflugerville fights fascism, but put a P before all three.
Nice.
I don't know why. That just made me laugh.
That's great.
It just made me, fascism with a PF was funny to me. What were your highlights of the weekend? Seeing the No Kings rally.
Yes. So, one last thing about the influencer thing. It's a weird thing because I think no matter what you do as a content creator or an influencer, someone's going to have something to say. They're not going to like the way that you did it. And it just like kind of is what it is. You just like take it for what it is. But like it would have been a way weirder experience to me to open my social media apps and see like, get ready with me to go get a matcha. Like that would be, that's crazy. It felt so much better to me to see these people who are content creators that I love either at the protests themselves or sharing things that were like, here are the resources that you need to stay safe. And like, this is a phone number you can call. And if this happens, this is like actually sharing information, actually sharing resources and being supportive was like that. It's because it's so much more of a bizarre experience to have the world around you like move forward while all these huge things are happening. So even like the day of No Kings, I felt, which like I feel like that's going to end up on like our Google calendars, our Apple calendars, like No Kings Day is going to be a thing.
No Kings Day, always Donald Trump's birthday.
Right. Oh,
that'd be fun.
That would be so great.
Next year's not a leap year. We could do it on Sunday.
Oh my God.
Hopefully by next year, we have an apparatus in place where we can send a team of people from the line. Because honestly, like, I'm cynical as fuck, people. And so I have no problem trashing that 95% plus of creators are kind of dog shit people. And I count myself among that.
No.
But I will say I like when the people who find success start to edge more toward collaboration. You see that from like the Vlog brothers, like Hank and John Green, starting to do more with other groups and stuff and start to turn into almost what you would call independent media with a sort of apparatus that looks a little bit like some of the traditional media stuff, which is why I like The Line so much, because The Line can be something incredible and I don't need to personally be incredible as the founder of The Line for it to be incredible. Right. It can be this incredible collaborative effort. And so I have no problem shitting on you. But the protests at large, I love when you zoom out and you look at the whole thing, I'm like, fuck yeah. And then when you zoom in right to the one individual and it's like, people are like, oh, I've got to hear. And there are even creators who I like, despite recognizing their flaws, where I'm just like, bro, maybe like take 90% off what's on here today. Okay. Like today you have done great work for, and you should be proud of how you helped make this happen. And now shut up more than you listen more than you talk. Yeah,
I get that.
But I like I said, I like that the person I'm specific. That wasn't the person I was thinking of this whole time. This is the one who came to mind where I was like, oh my God, I cannot get him out of my algorithm right now. And I'm like, I already know what his feelings on all of this stuff are because you can't escape leftist spaces without hearing his opinion on shit.
Yeah. Well, I think the highlight for me was hearing almost nothing about the military parade. Like really, truly hearing almost nothing about it until like kind of today. And all I've seen is there's like one video of tanks going through and like you can literally hear
sad.
You could hear the squeaky wheels of the tanks like going it's really weird. And then there's like bleachers that are all set up and it's pin drop fucking silent. The bleachers are like not even a third full. And one of the like on the one particular video that I saw, the most liked comment when I saw it was like looking back, the bleachers were probably not necessary. And it was just, I loved that the news that came out from the weekend was that there were millions of people across the world, like all over the world. And it was like 20 plus countries that were protesting. And I didn't hear anything about any violence, which is awesome. And what I really, really, really was hoping for, like, we don't need another moment of like the right being able to be like, these animal leftists, blah, 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 whatever. Like, I'm so happy that was not the conversation. And I actually like don't even know what the conversation is on the right about this weekend. I don't even know what what could they possibly say? What's the criticism now?
Yeah. I mean, obviously some sad things overhanging. There were people killed in Minnesota.
Oh my God, right.
Lawmakers killed.
Yes.
Yeah. But literally, I mean, thing after thing. Now, immediately, as soon as that happened, the right tried to flood all of social media before anyone even knew a thing about who it was, that this was the Democrats did it. That they did it because that somebody on the left, because they like to use the word left to mean Democrats because they don't know what words mean, but somebody on the left did it because this person voted against healthcare for illegal immigrants. And anyway, it turns out it was like a super MAGA pastor, I believe it ended up being. And of course, they've already flooded that information, though. So I guarantee you the next political show might be this coming Wednesday, because Alyssa and I are doing the hang up this Wednesday over on the line. Someone's going to call in and be like, well, it's not because what about when the Democrats were killing their own people in Minnesota? Because they don't look for that second tier of information of like, hey, that thing I heard earlier.
Yeah.
Is that bullshit? Did that turn out to be bullshit?
I had this conversation with my mom because she went to dinner with her little like Bible study group. And my mom is like very progressive, especially now. I'm very proud of her. And she, at that table, a couple of the women, which of course, like the irony is just it'll never not be insane and like hilarious. They were talking about the like ICE situation and whatever, all the protests, and they were saying, well, in the Constitution, if you're not a citizen, then you don't get due process. And my mom was like, that's not right.
Correct. That's
not right. And they were like, no, it's right. It's right. And you know what my mother did? I'm so fucking proud of her. This is a woman who is, is she 60? She's born in 60s. She's going to be 60. She's 59. 59 years old, grew up in the Bronx, and is the first generation of an immigrant family. So, like, this is a level of research that I don't anticipate from her. But what she did was she reached out to, like, a distant relative of ours who's an immigration attorney and asked for the specific part of the Constitution that, like, refers to due process, and asked for like an explanation about it, and she got that explanation, and that's what she brought to the girls. And I was like, that's my fucking mom, bro. She said, I'm pretty sure that this is not the case, but I'm also going to get a source from someone who is non-biased and is actually educated and is whatever. I mean, like non-biased, whatever. But like actually knows their shit and not from a media source. And I'm going to present this information to these people. And like that's the level of like, unfortunately, you can't just take this stuff at face value. And it's important that you're just like taking an extra step to be like, is this thing that I heard what I think it should be? I don't know. Anyway.
Which, by the way, the funny thing is it's almost self-defeating because you go like, oh, word. So now, how would you determine if an individual was a citizen? Because you literally would need to do due process to determine whether or not that person has the legal thing.
That fucking
like, it's
part.
So stupid.
And so when she got that response from my relative who's an immigration attorney, the response that she gave was, at the end of the day, due process has to apply to everyone for it to apply to anyone. Because they're just picking people up that they are racially profiling and then like kind of throwing them into these fucking basements for all we know. And we have no idea what goes on after that. So yeah,
Yep. And not to mention the clauses, they're in the 5th and I think the 14th Amendment. Yes, they're in the 5th and 14th. They literally use the phrase person, not citizen.
Not citizen, which is
no
on
person
purpose.
Shall be held. Yeah.
On purpose.
Yup. You guys are so fucking stupid.
Did you see the clip? I think his name is Dean Withers. He's on TikTok and like debates a lot of
young guy.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah.
There's like Dean and another one, and I forget the other one's name. I think this one was Dean. He like was on he was doing a live, and somebody called in and was like asking about, or like they were going back and forth about the Constitution, and this like MAGA supporter on the call when he was like, well, I defend the Constitution, the original Constitution. And Dean was like, what are you talking about? And he was saying these are things in
talking about the amendments.
Yes. Oh my God. And then the guy, if anyone hasn't seen this clip, please find it. Like at the Dean Withers clip debating about what an amendment is. And you hear
the guy basically was saying that the Constitution wasn't made to be changed.
Yes.
And Dean was like, yes, it was. He's like, where does it say that? He's like, the amendments.
Yes.
And he's like, where did the amendment say that? It's like, that's what the word amendment means. It means there was a Constitution and it has been amended.
The best part, and also in the Constitution, it says in there somewhere, like there will be changes, there will be amendments. They're like, this is a living document. Yeah. So
the people wanted that when they set it up, they wanted there to be a constitutional conference every 20 years to see what needed to be added and changed.
They should do that. But then when Dean sort of like illustrates that point, you hear the clicking of this guy like Googling what an amendment is. Oh my God, it was so insane. Anyway, what was your highlight for the weekend?
Oh man, it's got to be how sad he looked at his parade. He looked so dejected, and everybody there looked like they were having a terrible time. And then even if you try to go, imagine if it had been a great success. So just to give people an idea of the numbers, there were at least 5 million, but probably many more people who marched in the No Kings protest. So let's just say somewhere between 5 and 10 million people marched at the No Kings protest. The military parade, they claim 250,000. The event organizers officially claim 250,000. However, when you have estimates put together by journalists and people actually you can just fly over with a drone and start counting people.
Yeah.
And they have methods to do that. Less than 100,000 people, certainly. And some estimates coming in like way lower, like 25 to 50,000. And that seems very apparent by all of the empty bleachers. I remember there was a person who posted like, hey, here's the big line. This is where the big line is 5 minutes before the doors open. And he's the only one in the line. And it's got those metal barriers up so you can have a super long winding line. He's like, the doors open in 5 minutes. No one else is in this. And this is like the big line.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody went. And he looks so sad and dejected and just like, buddy, listen. There wasn't a big enough party for your birthday. Does it bring you any good feelings to know that your opposite of birthday is going to have a huge party? The biggest party in America. I was thinking about when they got Bin Laden. You remember the big parties when they got Bin Laden? Were you there? Did you go to one of those New York parties? When Bin Laden got by Obama?
When he got.
When he got, New York City was like more crowded than New Year's. Everybody went out to New York City to party that night. They're like screaming in the streets. People are like, I've got exams tomorrow, but I don't care because we killed Osama Bin Laden. When natural causes comes for the man who comes for the rest of us, but never comes for a lady, if you know what I mean. I can't do it, can't come. When that day comes, that will be the biggest party. So I just want to say, like, Donald, cheer up, right? Why the long face?
Yeah.
Why the long seeming to melt away face? You will be responsible for the biggest nationwide party in the streets one day.
Oh, 100%.
It's going to be
100%.
ginormous.
And, at the end of the day, he will go down as a massively infamous character in U.S. politics, just as the person who was trying to be a dictator. So, it's sort of like a no press is bad press situation for him. That's how he's going to need to process it. But yeah,
you want to know what I want to do?
What?
I want to contact Zoom and I want to ask them, how much would it cost, or a similar service, how much would it cost to leave a call open that is just called when it happens? And it's just always open all the time. It's just always open. And then we give the link out just to the people we want to party with, so that the moment it happens, everyone in our internal little thing who knows that link is going, that link is open. And people in the meantime can stop by, be like, hey, anybody want to go hang out in the when it happens Zoom? Whatever. But when it happens, just to have this call that pretty much has nobody in it, suddenly have like, I don't know, up to, what would we have, up to cap it at like 50 people?
I would love it. I would love it. Well,
Bro,
the day that it happens,
ours.
I was going to say, the day that it happens, we're going to do a live stream. There's no way we're not.
Oh, I'm going to be on the air. We'll be live streaming from
half naked.
The line.
We're going to be drunk and half naked.
Right. The orgy at the line that is going to happen when it happens. It's going to be, we're going to be, you know.
That's how we get kicked off of YouTube.
They face paint at a party. We were doing orange body paint at our party. Paint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to be doing orange face. I'll tell you that
Oh
much.
my
The day it
God.
happens. When it happens?
And
Are you kidding me?
Ooh, excuse me. And you know that the day that it happens and everyone else will be celebrating, the people on the MAGA side are going to be like, you guys are disgusting.
Oh my God.
You're disgusting. A person died. He's a dad.
Yeah.
And I just, listen. If there's,
you guys were dicks when Jimmy Carter died, who, failed politician though he may be, was a nice guy.
They just don't have any level of critical thought. Also, for anybody who's listening who wants to see a really...
Buy a ticket to the Zoom? No, we don't got that.
Not yet. On Threads, I just reposted a thread that someone... FOOEMERY posted. That's their account name. But it says, if you're not from the United States, can you please share what your local news outlets are saying about today's No Kings protests in the U.S.? And it is so, uplifting more than anything else. It's people in different countries just being like, we see everything that's going on, and, we're so proud of you. The U.S. is really standing up for their country, and you're showing up for democracy. It's amazing. We're so proud. It's very cool. And especially to have had the past, however many years, have everyone sort of dunking on us because we've put Trump in office. It was nice to have a little bit of a win from an international space. So anyway, if you go on Threads and you go to my account, you'll see that I reposted it, or just go to that person's account and you'll see it's a great post. I highly recommend scrolling through the comments.
I could literally do 10 hours just talking about when it happens. You know what I mean? That's my favorite topic.
What meal are you going to have?
Natural causes, of course.
Okay, when it happens, we have to get tacos.
I wish.
Oh, you can.
I'll be eating chicken and rice and potatoes.
Some level of tacos. You could put down chips and then put shredded chicken on top. And then
that's already just how I do lunch instead of dinner.
I know, but then what if you
basically the order of my meals in a day, it just changes the order. Mm-hmm. So for lunch I do a layer of chips, chicken, rice, but then for dinner you flip it and it's rice, chicken, and air fried potatoes on the top. It's just you're just flipping them around.
I know.
I've been literally ordering different, because I also have to eat a low fat diet. So I've been ordering different types of low fat chips to try too. So many chips have been delivered to my house that if anybody was watching, they'd be like, this guy's why does he only like bad chips?
Oh my God.
Because they're not flavored. They're just salted.
Yeah.
There's no today some came and they are bad.
They're bad.
They're just bad. They just taste bad.
I'm sorry.
They taste like sunflower oil only. I didn't think you'd get that through, but that's what it tastes like.
Ew.
Gross. Anyway, when it happens of natural natty causes, natty C's.
Yeah, natty C's.
Those Christian those C nats and those natty C's.
Dude, what do you think? Okay, you know what I think is also funny is what do you think when it happens? I'm trying to think of a way.
What his base will do?
Yes, but what his services will be like.
Oh, they'll do the traditional presidential service, and there will be, Obama will show up. They'll do all that. Is your dryer going?
Can you hear that?
I can.
Maybe. I don't even hear it.
I hear something like a dryer.
Yeah, it might be
like
the
something
dryer.
tumbling in a dryer.
Well, I'm not getting up to turn it off. I'll be so honest.
Where there's like a zipper or a little plastic thing
Yeah.
that hangs off like the string and you hear it.
That sounds right. You know, we should all just be so thankful that my mother's not vacuuming because this is about the time she would.
Wait, I can do the. That's
Wow.
my impression of a vacuum.
That's pretty good.
A two-tone, low and a whistle.
Wow. Guys, who said that you weren't talented?
Everybody. Just my parents. No, they never said that.
Oh
that
my
wasn't
God.
that wasn't their sin specifically.
Jesus.
They also didn't say I was talented, but they never said I wasn't
My
talented.
parents have never told me I'm talented.
That seems surprising. It seems like something your mom would say to you.
Do you know that I had a billboard in Times Square my parents didn't go see?
What?
Isn't that crazy?
Mean?
They also didn't
Yeah.
come with me to my TED Talk. My parents are weird. Like, actually, here's the thing.
Do they not leave the house?
They
'Cause
absolutely leave
to
the
a
house.
person who doesn't travel, that is a lot.
No. They leave the house all the time.
travelers.
And you know how
They
you
go
know
to
that they
LA?
leave the house all the time? Because of whenever you hear my dogs going crazy and I go, sorry, my mom just came home.
Oh yeah. Well, grocery store doesn't mean you went somewhere.
The bitch is out. Okay. This is what it is it's
The bitch is out.
she's out. One thing about my
The
mother,
bitch came back.
She's outside.
Don't worry, don't worry.
it's just like very debilitating middle child syndrome. That's what it is for me.
Let's do a break and come back on today.
Yeah.
You know what though? I have that middle child syndrome, even though. So I have 12 siblings.
Yeah, that's
But
fucking
how that all
crazy.
works is crazy. But what gave me the middle, I was mostly raised with my 6 biological siblings,
Mm-hmm.
4 of which are older brothers, 2 of which are younger sisters. And I was like that, where it's like, oh my God, we got a 5th boy. We've been trying to get girls. And then wait 4 years because of some issues. And then they finally get their daughter. And they're basically like, okay, so you're an accessory. You're going to kind of be treated like a pet. And then when you get 10, your mom's going to treat you like a shitty sibling. That's pretty much how my family rolled. So I have like weird, like middle. And also, all of my siblings have another sibling within a year of them, or a year and a half to 2 years of them. I have 3 years on one side and 4 years on the other. What I'm saying is, it's not that strange. I am this.
I was
way.
gonna say,
There's good explanation.
There's a reason why we're both here.
Yeah. We'll be right back. You need a sec?
Nah, I'm good. I'm hanging.
All right, let's keep.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com and pick up some Founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
I don't even know if we've covered that much stuff.
I think here's the thing. No King's Day, awesome.
Yeah,
Protest,
awesome.
awesome. Military parade, big fat doo-doo garbage, but hilarious,
Poop.
went the way that we wanted it to.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. I also saw a lot of clips popping up of the little cots that all of these soldiers were staying in, and they were kind
When
of
they
like
get cots, a lot of them are sleeping
a
on the
lot
ground.
of them are sleeping
and,
on the
like,
ground. So
Yeah.
so like on top of all of this, this is supposed to be honoring our military, and you dragged them out here to sleep on the goddamn floor in support of a man who is actively cutting resources for these people when they are no longer serving.
Did you see that Florida sheriff, I think it was, who was like,
Oh, the
if
fuck
you throw
I
a
did.
rock, you throw a rock or you do a bunch of non-lethal things that, could hurt you. But if you do those things, we will kill you dead,
Yeah.
grave dead.
Yep.
The funny thing being, as one veteran pointed out, when we go to Iraq and we are doing things with civilians, they will protest. We're not allowed to engage them, even if they hit us in the head with bricks. If they hit us in the head with anything short of a gun, you do not get to shoot back at.
Yeah.
And so they literally had And we fucking killed lots of civilians in Iraq. They have literally more lax rules of engagement in Iraq, not relax, the more strict rules of engagement in Iraq than this fucking town in Florida where this guy, who, by the way, look, I am not going to be one to fat shame anybody except myself, but I had thought some kind of physical fitness had to be demonstrated each year to remain a police officer. This guy couldn't spell physical fitness.
You had like this.
Yeah, I did have a look, people. I kind of gymmed the camera just now. If you're listening, you just got to think what Jim from The Office does.
Yeah. No, that's that's exactly what
I
you
gave
did.
it a little. I'll try and add a sound to that from now on, people. If I go, okay, that's my. How do they think they're the good guy? But also in general, just think about like, these are people, Republicans are often people who love to talk about history. What history have you read where literally the military of a country in the streets, pulling people off the streets, mass deporting people, like just visually, just look at the optics of what you're doing. When has that ever been the footage we replay and we're like, hey, they're the good guys?
No.
Look at those good guys down there. Look at them being good guys.
Exactly. But here's the thing, the right wing like tornado media of bullshit is not showing that. Like they're not seeing it. So it's like, I don't know. I had so many random people in my DMs because I feel like you know this already. I had a video that went viral that was like, if squirting is pee. So I had like gotten a lot of like a couple thousand followers from that video that were not from any other type of content. And a lot of them are guys. And so these are people who are maybe not familiar with all of the other kinds of content I make. And so normally I post this kind of stuff and I don't really get a lot of like, opposition in my DMs or my comments because I think the people who follow me are sort of like of the same ideology. Because of that reel, I was getting like, and like these new people who follow me, I was getting the most random DMs from people that were trying to like go back and forth with me on what's been going on. And after
trying to mansplain it to you.
100%. And after a while, I literally
you don't understand.
Yeah, I said to one of the guys who was in my DMs where like I responded a few times and then I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, we actually are going to accept two completely different versions of the truth. And I don't have the time or the energy to lead you individually through this process. So like, I'm going to leave this conversation here and I haven't read his messages since then.
I think that that's crazy. I think you did the wrong thing. Can I tell you what I think the right thing is?
Tell me.
A link to your Venmo and an offer for $100 for 15 minutes.
Just
give you dedicated DM. Yeah, I'll be like, here's my Venmo tag.
Yeah.
If you want to keep doing this, I will have only this window open for 15 minutes for every $100 you give me. Because I literally get paid to have conversations like these.
Yeah.
And if you're going to waste my time, and if I'm going to treat you, if you want me to treat you like you have value to me, I'm going to need that value to come in dollars.
Right.
Okay? Because I don't know you. So right now, relative to, you didn't exist to me yesterday. If you had died yesterday, I'd have never heard about it, wouldn't have had a single feeling about it. Okay? That's who you are to me. So if you want this value in my life where I'm going to listen to you, that costs. That costs.
There's
a cost.
Someone did DM me, respond to something. So he responded saying, I shared something about a person who in LA was getting stopped. They took his real ID. He's a citizen of the United States, and I've seen him. Yeah. So I shared that and I basically explained, like, this is why due process is important for everyone, because if it does not work for everyone, it doesn't work for anyone, blah, 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 the whole thing.
Right.
And he said, yes, keep falling for the divisive virtue signaling and posting to drive the hate and divide deeper. BLM all over again, forcing simple minds to pick a side when in 2 months you won't mention this topic ever again. Literally do a podcast twice a week and a live show once a week and also other things constantly. But no.
This is one of those redacted individuals who fucking like thought that was going to happen with watch when the election's over, suddenly COVID will disappear, and it fucking didn't.
And it fucking didn't, and no one ever said it did.
By the way, I'm still all BLM. Fuck you.
Yeah, literally.
Fuck you.
I have not. Who's forgotten BLM? Like, what are you talking about? And it'll be on to the next fear-mongering false flag that the mainstream media will tell you to feel some type of way about. And
false flag. Donald Trump is admitting they're doing the thing we're protesting.
Right.
It's not made up.
It's not made up. He's literally said it.
The guy, what's his name? Not Hogan. Dumbass fucking douchebag who's the head of ICE out there being like, when they were saying, well, what about due process? Where's the due process for Lincoln Riley? Right. Lincoln Riley had her due process denied by her murderer, who was committing a crime.
Here's the thing,
so we shouldn't, as a government, commit the crime of denying a person due process.
Right.
Like, yes, correct. That wrong thing that was done was you could call a denial of due process. Did Lincoln Riley deserve to be killed? Clearly not.
Of course not.
And the killer disagreed.
Right.
Let's not skip that shit, you fucking moron.
But it's also like that the amount of times that I have seen that one name come up over and over and over and over and over again, I'm like, so what you're telling me is you have nothing else. You have the life of one person. That's the only, and it's not to say that their life is not valuable and worthy of defending, like the way that we did for George Floyd and the way that he did for Breonna Taylor. Like, I get that. I understand that. However, the person who committed that crime is a criminal, so they should be tried for the crime and then like go through due process and there we go. These are not criminals. These are just human beings that you are just
people
plucking off of. So anyway, I responded to him and I said, why do you follow me exactly? You're in my DMs yapping away about virtue signaling, but continue to follow. Why? And he said, do you personally agree with everything everybody you follow says? Your other content is great, but when it comes to faux social justice warrior act on social media, you know I'm right. It just furthers...
You know I'm right.
It just furthers divide. Far bigger forces at play, intentionally radicalizing both sides. Play into it enough and you end up losing sight of what matters.
Bitch, I hope our side actually radicalizes to real leftism. Did you reply to that one?
No, not yet.
Here's the reply.
Tell me.
Oof. My co-host Jimmy just said that you talk a big game, but you are not brave enough to call us this Wednesday and debate it out on air.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm gonna say is, I don't follow people who I disagree with.
Oh, I wouldn't give him that much. Make him bring the whole thing. Just challenge him to the debate. Because obviously now he can go through your thing and be like, what about this person you follow?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I would just literally be like, oh man, you think you're so good and sober. The like, you know I'm right argument is one of the dumbest ones there is.
I know.
There are few dumber than it because it's literally like, according to what? What is it? Why do you have this level of confidence when you don't even thoroughly wipe your ass? Right? Like you do one swipe
your asshole
with a
has
double
shit
layer
on it, and you want to have this conversation with me? Okay.
And you're talking down like you know about anybody else's life? Our assholes are clean, sir. I bidet that thing raw. I might need a Vaseline sort of solution. That's how clean my asshole is. By the way, if anybody has any good recommendations for how they moisturize their butthole after a good bidet, after a day where they had to use their bidet a little bit stronger, I am all ears. Jimmy at Dear Mr. Atheist at gmail.com if you want to send those recommended. Contact at Q&Aline.com for the...
I feel like I dissociated to write this message for a hair too long.
I was waiting to see how long you were
and I was like,
back in.
What just happened?
On the bonus show, we're going to discuss whether or not butthole moisturization is a thing I didn't know about, and Alyssa will bring her knowledge to the table. Though we might want a licensed esthetician's input. You know what I mean?
I miss our licensed esthetician.
Oh God, I do.
She hasn't
certified.
She hasn't reminded us that that's what she is in so long.
Do you have any more did you sees before we go? Because did you see that video of the possum with like 20 babies on its back?
No.
I think it's more like 10, but just overloaded with. I love possums. I love marsupials. Possums are my favorite American continent mammal, I should say, other than my dog. But like as a generalized, if you're talking like wildlife, I fucking love possums with their little pouches taking care of their babies. And this one's like running around with like 10 of them on her back. Hang on, I can find it and tell you how many it is.
Oh my God.
It's so many. It's like, it's too many possums. That's way too many possums. And she goes under a fence and almost accidentally leaves 2 of the babies behind because the fence like knocks 2 of them off.
This is insane. I don't know what is going on anymore. Please send me the clip because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Possums. What are you talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about.
Just send me the link because you're describing it and I can't picture what you're saying.
I'm talking about do you know what a possum is?
Yeah.
You know what they look like?
Yes.
All right, so imagine one big mama possum.
Yeah.
I am sending you the clip too, but I want to see if I can get this. And now imagine she has 10 babies hanging off her back.
Okay.
At least 10. And it's just, all right, I just sent it to you on Instagram. Pull it up. Take a look, see. Tell me if this does not pay off because it's so adorable. And while she's doing that, I don't know. Y'all want to get, you guys want to buy out my stock of weed before it becomes illegal here because it's about to become illegal in Texas again. The not weed, the hemp variations, the Delta 8 and Delta 10. I don't actually have any anymore. I did use a little bit in past years while I was here. There are probably going to be periods of time in the future where maybe I'd fuck around with it again for a little bit. But the amount that Texas is willing to regress, I'm just waiting for them to come here and be like, and pregnancies are now mandatory. You there, get your girlfriend pregnant. We're watching. We brought this person here to rip out their birth control. Like that's on its way. That's got to be. Isn't that adorable?
Something about it. What's that thing where you have a fear of holes?
Hole phobia. I don't know.
No. It's like trick is something. I don't know. A fear of like tiny holes.
Trypophobia.
That.
Trypophobia.
Looking at this clip is doing that to me.
Because of the fence?
No, not because of the fence. The way that they all look bunched up there is grossing me out for some reason. And it's not gross in the way that like the animal is gross. It's like something about it is, I don't know. I don't like it. Oh my God. Also, one of like the local towns by me, actually where I went to protest, I don't want to say exactly where it is, but like up in my county, is doing weekly protests every Saturday from 4 to 6.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
I hope that there are continued things, and I hope that we have good reasons for other big ones this year. Generally, it's not wonderful to try and drag them out too long because then they start making the media coverage more about how few people show up later, as though that means the sentiment has dimmed. But you have to have a refresh reason to be out there.
I'm just impressed that this is kind of like this is the suburbs of New York, and it's like kind of a chill county, and I was not anticipating that level of activism. So I'm impressed.
Did you see Jim Jordan tweeting out, when's the primetime hearings on record crime in Democrat-run cities? And AOC responding, according to CBS News, out of the top 10 deadliest cities in America, 7 of them are in Republican-run states. Now, follow-up question, were you one of the members who saw the pardon after January 6th? Because I didn't.
Wait.
I just love her so much.
Who posted that?
I want to say that you kind of zoned out there.
I did. I did not hear what you said because my friend
Jim Jordan was basically like, when are we going to see the hearings for the record crime in the Democrat-run cities? And AOC points out that those cities, the deadliest cities in America, 7 of them are in Republican-run states out of 10. And then asked him, were you one of the members who sought a pardon after January 6th? Because I didn't. Because he did. He did sequence. I know.
Oh, I love it. It's so easy to like, there's so many fucking layups that we get to have. Good. It's too easy.
The sad news to end on, people, unfortunately, it seems that the girls fighting is going to take a bit of a hiatus because Elon and Trump are at least playing nice, and Elon has kissed the ring, and by the ring I mean the puckered asshole of Donald Trump, apologizing for suggesting he was a pedophile, and just kind of being an all-out little bitch. She's a little bitch boy. How you doing, rich little rocket bitch boy? Little rocket man.
Such a fucking
That's
loser.
what Trump called the North Korean guy. What did he say? Such a what?
Loser. I just said he's such a loser, but
Oh, okay.
apparently.
I thought I heard a swear in there. We don't swear.
I
on
know.
the podcast.
I did swear the first time.
Aw. Okay, bye, people. Thanks. We'll go to the bonus show and talk about lots of things, including moisturizing one's butthole.
What I actually